It's good to see you. Fantastic. What do you think about Adelaide so far?
I'm loving Adelaide.
You can be honest. You don't have to. You have to
I'm
lie.
being absolutely honest. I've only
Fantastic.
seen a little bit so far, and it has been absolutely wonderful. I'm loving Adelaide. Really, really am.
That's good.
We held the koala yesterday. So how
really?
bad can that be?
Photos.
Went to, what is it, Cleveland?
Yeah.
So I held one before, but now my girlfriend got to hold one, and she's like, oh my god, isn't that great? It was wonderful.
Remember when you go home, remind everyone that they are called drop bears, and they murder people.
Very vicious.
Have you heard of this urban myth?
I've heard. But I hear everything in Australia will kill you anyway.
Have a look on the Googles. Hang on, look on the Googles, and it's a myth that we try to perpetuate very seriously.
So
it's fantastic. So I'm holding a drop bear, says your wife, and people will be very
most of the koalas are actually packing. They have a shiv, a knife of some sort.
Have you picked up any Australian slang while you're here?
I grew up in New Zealand, so I mean, like I know a little bit, but what is it? We went to the thingy yesterday, and there's those little clear crayfish thing called yebbies.
Yebbies,
yeah. What the yebbies? What the heck is that?
You'll be slanged up.
A crayfish is just a yabby.
Yeah,
A yebby.
yeah, it's like a mud crayfish. I don't know.
Anyway, cool. I can't remember what I was going to ask you.
You can just read that.
Cool, I will.
How you liking Adelaide so far? Just got in?
Yeah, I just got in. I love it. I can't believe that I'm not jet lagged, but I'm not. I've already, let's see, held koalas, and I'm looking forward to Vegemite, or am I?
Can I be there the first time you eat Vegemite?
Sure. I heard it was just like Nutella.
Yes, it's totally
like
you just eat it with a spoon.
Oh, great.
Just with a spoon, just
I do like Nutella, so this is good.
Oh dear. So the first thing.
Okay, I'm ready. We're gonna learn how to parkour, guys.
I just
Okay.
hand.
Okay.
Other hand free.
Okay.
Yeah. Leg through.
Yeah.
And down.
Oh no.
Good.
Whoa. Oh my god. Parkour.
Little jump, like me. We're going to be using the front part of our feet when we jump and when we land. Swing your arms. Bend your legs. Good.
Okay.
Cool.
Whoa, falling. I have no upper body strength.
That's alright. So, get up, hang on the side. I'll hold my hand under your foot.
Okay.
And we'll push jump.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Ah! Okay, ready?
Yep, up you go.
So heavy. Flop.
Look off into the distance.
The costume's a steampunk pirate, so tried to base it a little bit on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Come on, bro, we gotta combine! What I wanna do, pierce the heavens. One day, finally, it will happen, bro.
Come on, bro, you can do this.
You and me.
Let's go! Let's do it!
Oh! I have the drill that can do it.
Come on, bro!
You and me.
Let's go!
Do this!
Do this!
Team Daigura!
Oh!
Can you tell us what your costumes are, guys?
Yeah, I'm cosplaying as the Gundam RX-78-2. It's one of the originals.
Frazer from Dragon Ball Z.
Any particular reason why Frazer?
I've cosplayed as a few Dragon Ball Z characters like Goku and Vegeta, so I figured give a villain a try for something different.
What's your favourite so far?
Out of all three?
Yep.
Probably this one,
Yep.
the compliments
Even
I
with
got.
even with the face paint?
Yeah.
Excellent. And I guess you've been getting a really good reception with it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Jessica Nigri actually mentioned that she likes mine the most out of everyone she saw, and I was like,
Excellent.
just got up, made my day for sure.
Good. How do you keep track of the voices that you do? How do you put your voice and change it into one particular character, and then how do you prepare for the next role and go, okay, well, I don't want it to sound too much like the last voice I did or one of the voices I've done in a previous film?
Sure. Well, there is a lot of crossover. If you look at some of the character roles, I mean, some people, there's Shinji, and then there's Akito and Nadesico, or Vampire Knight, or things like that. You know, they're all. I always tell people that our voices are really increments of themselves, unless we do a big different character. So if we're, I'm a little boy like this, or it's like, I'm totally evil, that sort of thing, it's a different animal. So it's totally different. But we just go in increments that the director tells us to go. And that way, it's whatever the director wants.
A lot of people know you probably most prominently from stuff like your cosplay with Lollipop Chainsaw and your new thing with Killer Is Dead and so forth. How did you manage to land a position like that? Obviously, you're good at your cosplay. What led up to it?
Actually, I'm a huge fan of James Gunn and like Suda51, so I really like No More Heroes. I love the movie Slither, you know. So when I found out that they were making a game, Lollipop Chainsaw, I was like, oh my god! Like it's so funny because finally someone put together chainsaws, lollipops, and cheerleaders and zombies, and it seems so like, oh that's dumb. But then they brought it together and they made it really well. But I made a cosplay of the costume first, and I wore it to a convention, and then my friend who runs a comic book website was like, hey, did you hear they're doing auditions to find like the real life Juliet? And I was like, oh my god! So we drove out to LA and we did like this audition, and I was sitting up against like 30 or 40 girls that were drop dead gorgeous. There were models they brought in for the thing though, so they had so they had no idea what video games were. They didn't know who James Gunn was, anything, and I was sitting there in my costume that I made, and I was like, I'm gonna die. I don't know why I came out here. What is the point of being here? Why did I even try? And I did my thing. I did my spiel, and then I got this call maybe 3 weeks later, and they're like, hey, we need your tax information. And I was like, why? That's super weird. And they're like, well, because you won the Lollipop Chainsaw Search for Juliet contest. And I was like,
tell you that first?
yeah. They asked for my tax information first, and I was like, that's so weird. But yeah, so that's how that happened, and then through that event and like through like the traveling and all the ups and crazy downs and everything, Suda51, the creator of Lollipop Chainsaw, No More Heroes, Killer 7, was like, hey, do you want to come back and work for me again? And I was like,
you met Suda51?
Yeah. Well, me and Suda51 we're like that now. And like every time we see each other, we're like, what?
Jealousy.
Yeah, but so he was like, you come back and work on this next game. And it was actually cool because the character I play in Killer is Dead is Vivian, and originally she was supposed to be 75 years old. But then Suda was like, you know, I would actually really prefer if Jessica was going to be able to part of this game. Can we make the character 23? And then they changed the age of the character, and so now I'm Vivian from Killer is Dead. So that was kind of cool.
As an actor, you spend more time auditioning than you do getting the part. You know, you're a professional auditioner, it seems, and so, although you do have to be ready when it happens, and I had a friend who said, specifically what he said was, hey, they're doing cartoons in Dallas, or actually Fort Worth. He said, you should audition. I just did, it was fun. I said, I like fun, and I like auditioning, so I said, okay, sure. So I drive up to this scary building in the middle of nowhere with the fluorescent lights, otherwise known as ugly lights, shining down on all of us, and a man with a beard came out and gave me pictures of silly people in a book, and as always, and so I opened this book, and I looked at the pictures, and I auditioned for a lot of different characters, and I left, and I just drove away, and I thought, oh, this thing's not going to take, what a joke. And I went and had lunch and forgot about it. Then a week later, I got a call, and they said, hey, you got, the show is called Dragon Ball Z, and you've got a couple of characters, Mr. Popo and Chen Shinhan, and I said, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know then what it would be, and I have to say that, first, a company starting out, it was just really fortuitous for everything. It all lined up because Funimation, it was DBZ, and it really took off, and then we got to work on that. So my first voice acting gig was DBZ, which is odd, yeah.